Would you please tell us your full name?
Yes, it's Barbara Farley. Do you want me to spell it?
No, I don't think that'll be necessary. By the way, Miss Farley, you do have a nickname, don't you?
Yeah, Babs.
Babs, yeah. Who gave you that nickname, Babs?
I don't know.
Oh, but everybody seems to call you that, though.
Yeah, practically.
In fact, a lot of people who hardly even know you call you that. Isn't that right?
Well, that depends.
Don't a lot of men call you Babs?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness has already stated her name.
Your Honor, I think it is very significant that Miss Farley has so many intimate friends.
Objection sustained.
Well, Miss Farley, forgetting the origin of your call name, I mean the name that you're called by, would you please tell the court what you've been doing for a living for the past 13 years?
I'm his secretary.
For the past 13 years, Miss Farley?
I was a prostitute.
Well, Miss Farley, where do you live now?
I live with Ione Redlin.
And that is at 76 Lincoln Avenue in Chesterfield, is that correct?
That's right.
Who else lives there besides you?
Miriam and Eric and Nancy Lawson temporarily.
So Miriam Mason and her son Eric are now staying with you, is that right?
That's right.
Thank you, Miss Farley. Tell the court now, please, if you would, what the names Ronnie Washington and Hugo Lancelot mean to you.
Ronnie Washington was my pimp, and Lance worked for him. He managed the girls.
So he managed you too, then, didn't he?
No, actually, I was Ronnie's girl.
Oh, so you were right up there with a head man, weren't you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, believe me, all this will lead to establishing Eric Mason's current living environment, if I'm given half a chance.
Objection overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Miss Farley, this Ronnie Washington has very strong mob connections, hasn't he?
He's in prison now.
Oh, yes, but in this area, he did oversee the mob's operations in loans and narcotics and prostitution, didn't he?
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Farley. Now, let's get back to your home with Mrs. Redlin, where Miriam Mason and her son Eric are currently staying. That's in a pretty volatile neighborhood, isn't it?
It's not so bad.
How long has it been that Miriam Mason has been a part of that household?
About a year, off and on.
Off and on?
Well, she's lived with Charles Carpenter part of that time.
Yes, for her safety. Isn't that right?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Isn't it true, Miss Farley, that your boyfriend, this Ronnie Washington, who is now in the federal penitentiary, kidnapped Miriam Mason while she was living with you and Mrs. Redlin? And isn't it true that you conveniently left Mrs. Redlin's house just before that took place? And isn't it true, Miss Farley, that when your boyfriend finally released Miriam Mason, that she chose to go to live with her father, Charles Carpenter, instead of returning to Mrs. Redlin's house in Chesterfield?
Yes, but that's
Just
not...
answer the question, Miss Farley, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all, Your Honor.
I don't care if Nancy Lawson is a monkey's uncle. I don't want you in there.
Not even to visit.
Not even to visit.
You were stretching your authority, Lester.
Well, I'll take that risk. Now, not only don't I want you in there, I don't even want you showing your face around this hospital until things quiet down, which could be quite some time.
Well, is there anyone else as upset as you are?
Now, look, the reason I am upset is because I know how these cases can blossom into nasty little legal battles. Now, if you doubt me, check with Dr. Nadwick over at Baptist General. I forgot. You don't remember him because he isn't there anymore. In fact, he isn't even practicing medicine anymore. And Baptist is still suffering from that aftermath of that.
You mean because he also helped a critical patient when there was no one else available?
That's exactly what I mean. And he wasn't even handicapped. Now, I'm warning you, Ben, keep away from Kingsley General until this thing blows over. Look, I don't want this to come before the medical board. They could take away your license. They could suspend it or revoke it in the case of legal crisis. Now, I don't want that to happen. But I have this hospital to think of, and I've already stuck my known neck out trying to keep it quiet.
So I can't even come to Kingsley General to deliver flowers, is that right?
I mightn't be so adamant if your aunt had a milder reputation. But you know, if she gets a whiff of the fact that there may be money to be made here, well, you know as well as I do that she would jump on it like a dog on a bone.
Even if the surgery's a success, which I have every reason to believe that it will be.
That would be wonderful, but better safe than sorry. Now, go back to your clinic and carry on as usual. And we'll hope that your heroics in Nancy's case work out that way, and they haven't attracted too much attention.
So, what have you got in the way of a job for me? Do I get to be a washroom attendant someplace or a ticket taker?
You really think big, don't you?
Well, it's better than the dreams I've been having of the chain gang lately.
Well, first things first. No, we don't have you a job. But I have a really nice lady looking for one.
Who?
Kate Phillips. I told you she's into public, civic things, right? She's very influential.
Is she going to be my sponsor?
No. She's going to look for a sponsor.
Oh.
She'll find one.
Yeah, Peter, but when?
Soon. I promise.
Thanks. It's just that I get so tired of it day after day in here. Everything's the same, except when it rains or I get the occasional harassment.
Are those creeps bothering you again?
Oh, yeah, but it's nothing I can't cope with. It's just that some of them think that I think that I'm better than they are. I don't think that. I just don't know how to talk to them. But I can cope with it.
Vicki, I want you out of here more than anything in the whole world.
More than anything?
Yeah. It tears me up to see you in here. But you're not stuck in here. I'm gonna get you to that county rehab center if it kills me.
You know something? I almost believe that. I bet you'd give me the shirt off your back if I asked for it.
You want the shirt? You got...
No!
Betty, your time is up. 5 minutes, Vicki.
Lady's got great timing, does she? I mean, do you have any privacy in here?
Oh, Peter, you're sweet.
So are you.
Miss Farley. May I call you Babs?
Of course, Harold. I mean, yes, you can call me Babs.
I must say you certainly have an interesting past. What I want to know, though, is if you are now currently gainfully employed.
Yes, I'm a legal secretary.
For whom and for how long have you been a legal secretary?
I've been working for you for the past year.
Do you think you're qualified to be a legal secretary?
Well, you haven't fired me yet. And I've been taking some classes at night to sort of help things along.
So, for well over a year now, you have not pursued your former profession.
No, that's over.
But you have had some contact with Ronnie Washington and Hugo Lancelot, isn't that true?
Yes, but that was before I tried to get away from them.
Why would you want to get away from them? Didn't they provide you with money? Maybe some glamour? At least security? Why would you want to leave all of that?
I didn't want to be a prostitute anymore.
How did they feel about that?
They tried to kill me. They didn't want me to leave. They thought I knew too much.
And yet you left anyway, didn't you?
Yes,
In spite of the fact that they threatened to kill you.
that's right.
After you left them, did they harass you in any way? Or did they try to do anything to make good on their threats to do bodily harm to you?
Yes, that's why I went to live with Ione Redland. She was good enough to take me in. And I went around in disguises for a while, but after a short time, things just got too risky and I had to leave Kingsley.
But before you even went to Miss Redland's house, they did, in fact, kidnap you, didn't they? Didn't they push you out of a speeding car and leave you for dead on the sidewalk? Didn't you spend some time in the hospital recovering from serious injuries?
Yes, I did. And that's why I left Kingsley. I thought that it was too dangerous for Miriam and Ione.
Did you keep in touch with Miriam Mason and Ione Redland during that time you were in hiding?
Well, I couldn't keep in touch with Miriam because she was kidnapped shortly after that by Ronnie and Lance. I wasn't sure of it, but I suspected it. I did keep in touch with Ione as best I could.
When did you actually come out of hiding?
When Ronnie and Lance were caught.
During the time when you were in fear of your life. How did you support yourself?
Not very well. I worked collecting money for the Children's Fund around Christmas time, and I wore a Santa Claus suit as a disguise, and then I worked as a waitress in Fairmont the rest of the time.
Those are all pretty low-paying positions. Weren't you at any time during this period tempted to make some easy money, perhaps do something that came natural to you?
As a prostitute?
Yes.
No! That was the whole point of getting away from Ronnie and Lance.
I'd like to remind you that you're under oath.
I know it. And I'm telling the truth. I'd die before I go back to being a prostitute again. I wanted to be a person. Why does everybody keep bringing it up? I'd like to just forget it. I am not a prostitute.
Thank you, Miss Farley. Your Honor, I don't have any more questions.
Mr. Myers, do you have any further witnesses to call?
No, Your Honor.
Then I think we had best adjourn for today and continue this case in the morning. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
What's this?
Go ahead and open it.
Where'd you get the wrapping paper?
I scrounged it off of one of the inmates. It's been used already.
Well, save a tree, I always say.
You open it?
Okay, I'm opening. Hold your horses. This is too much. What? This is great. That's right up there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You did this?
Yeah. I've kind of dabbled in painting ever since grade school.
Well, this is great. I didn't know you had this talent.
Oh, Peter, it's not that good.
No, it's good. It's good. Don't belittle yourself.
It's my favorite place around here. I go and sit there whenever I can. It's the closest thing I can find to the outside world.
You're gonna get out of here. I promise you. All right? See you tomorrow, if I can. I'm gonna get a frame for this. It's gonna do it justice.
Thanks.
I love it. I do. And I love you. I like you.
That's a bill. Bill. Ah, Robert Baker. I sure hope he paid in full.
You want to talk about the hearing?
What, do you?
I feel like I have to.
Perhaps you did fine.
Harold, it was awful. The whole thing was like a dirty trick. Poor Miriam. I mean, she probably wishes I'd stayed home, so Myers would never have called on me.
Well, perhaps we really didn't come out looking all that bad.
Do you really believe that? Why did Myers have to bring up all that garbage? Don't pretend you weren't embarrassed by all that junk he brought up about my past.
I was mad. But I wasn't embarrassed. Babs, I'm proud of you. No, I am. You've made a complete turnaround in your life. You've made a commitment to living a straight life more than anybody I ever know.
Any hooker, you mean?
Look, don't let a little courtroom intimidation cloud what you've done. You were the one that broke up the prostitution ring. You're the one that put Ronnie and Lance behind bars. And you did that in spite of the threat to your life. Perhaps you've put your whole life behind you, and you've taken up with one of the best women on God's earth, our own Redlin. You've been a friend to Miriam. Goodness knows you sure helped me. I don't know what more you can do to prove your worth, but you don't have to do that. Listen, Babs, I know that I don't say it nearly often enough, but I don't know what I'd do without you.
In spite of my lousy spelling?
Well, where there's life, there's hope.
That's such a comfort.
Babs, you mean more to me. Look, I'm not talking about my law practice here. You mean more to me than my law. More to me than my reputation or anything. Don't you know that? Hey. Oh, Babs, don't you know? Don't you know how I feel about you?
You know something? I'm sorry I haven't spent so much time with you.
Now, am I complaining?
Oh, no. I meant to get to know you better. Seems that every time Sebastian is, or somebody else, is waiting in the wings to see me.
Well, it's quiet now. Sebastian is at a Rotary meeting, I believe.
And what are your plans for tonight?
What are yours?
They haven't been confirmed yet. But I was thinking, how about a nice, quiet dinner at my place? You know, to kind of break up our routine.
Well, it sounds perfect to me.
You are such a willing worker.
Yes.
So willing in so many ways.
Yes, I am.
Kate, while you're knocking on the door, you know that door's always open to you.
Well, I didn't see Sebastian, and I thought that... Oh, hello, Andrea. I thought maybe you were out together on the campaign trail.
No, not today, and good thing, too, because I would have missed the pleasure of your company.
Oh, my. Aren't we gallant today?
How could I be anything else when you look so terrific?
Actually, I want to ask you a favor.
Anything your heart desires.
We're on the calendar for next week. You think that's going to give you enough time to find a sponsor for Vicki?
Well, I talked to Kate Phillips. She hasn't told me anything.
Well, I sure hope she finds somebody by early next week. Peter, if we miss this hearing, we won't get back on the docket for probably a month, maybe more. You know, she's really talented. Is that what attracted you to her?
Oh, no, I didn't know she could do that. No, you know, what attracted me was her smile, her eyes, personality. Plus, I thought she was getting a rotten deal, you know. She was a victim of Gil, and she was a victim of Nancy.
How is Nancy?
According to Mom, she's holding her own.
Can she speak yet?
Mr. Webster, after what she went through, plus the operation, she's conscious about half the time.
I really feel bad about that. Boy, for the longest time, I figured that I would really be happy when Nancy was out of commission. But when something like that actually happens to somebody, it, I don't know, puts things in a different perspective. Now, What happened to her, I wouldn't wish on anybody.
Oh, Kate, what can I do for you?
Well, I have been approached by a young man named Peter Davidson who is looking for employment for a friend of his.
And?
The girl is in prison now, but she is eligible for a transfer at the county rehabilitation program if she can find a sponsoring employer.
Well, nobody comes to mind right offhand.
Actually, I was hoping that you could be that employer.
You mean here, at the campaign?
Well, you do need help.
Well, what kind of a crime did this girl commit?
Well, you know Vicki Lang. She was convicted of...
Oh, no, no, no. That would be political suicide, Kate.
But the girl is not a criminal. What she did was out of passion, and she made a mistake. I really think it would be to your advantage.
I'll tell you what. You have dinner with me tonight, and we can hash this out some more.
Oh, well. I'm not sure I like the term hash.
Discuss, then, at the King's Arms?
That's better. I have missed you, Lee.
Kate, I can't tell you how much I have missed you. By the way, does this mean that you...
This means that we have a dinner date.
Okay. I'll try for an early reservation.
Great. See you later.
Okay.
Shall we pick up where we left off?
Andrea, I'm afraid I'm going to have to take a rain check on dinner tonight, but
I suppose you're spending the evening with Kate Phillips then?
just dinner. Then we can have the rest of the night to ourselves. Perhaps, maybe we could meet back here?
This place is beginning to feel more like home all the time.